Are you going to hit? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of All Things Football on Finished Article.
What's
So
up?
it's your boy Shazad and the horse with the most shows again, Shazad on the side there. I'm going to let Shazad just let you know what we're going to be talking about, and we'll kick things off quickly today.
Well, what we should be talking about is all the awesome football we watched over the weekend, guys. Mainly, I'm repping the Cov City shirt because, as you know, I
Yes.
cover Coventry City, and my boy over here is going to cover Man United. But guess what? We had a bombshell last night, and basically, what we've got is a group of mugs, which is football clubs. Basically, said we're bored. We want all the money to ourselves, so let's create a breakaway league. We don't want to be in the Champions League. We don't want to be in the Europa League. We want to create a league of our own. Now, that's what we're going to cover today. We're just going to cover some of the permutations. But before we do that, guys, you can see the ticker below. Please leave a like, subscribe, and comment below. As always, your thoughts and comments are greatly appreciated. And without your support, we wouldn't be where we are today. So I'm going to let Shaz kick it off, and we'll take it from there.
Nice one, nice one. So yeah, we're talking about the European Super League. Where do I speak? Where do I start on this? I'm going to start from where I think So you've got the big six, as they call them, in England. So you've got Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, City, United, and Spurs signing up
By the
for
way,
the Super League.
before he carries on, when did Spurs become a Big Six team?
When did
When
they?
did
I think Big Six means teams that generally finish in the top six, and Tottenham, they do finish in the top six. Don't be too harsh on them, bro.
Well done, guys. Well done, Tottenham.
So yeah, it consists of those top six, along with three teams from Italy. So both Milan teams, Inter and AC, with Juve.
Yeah.
Then you've got the Spanish teams, Barca, Real, and Atletico Madrid.
Correct.
The rumor is that French team PSG and the two German teams Dortmund and Bayern have declined to join this competition.
No, guys. You know what? Let me give
Now
you
that's
that.
a rumor. No one knows if that's true, but I'm
Let me
guessing
tell
we
you what's
will
going to
find
happen.
out.
Let me tell you what's going to happen on that. So PSG will join because they inevitably need the money. The reason they're not is because their sponsorships, i.e., Qatar, are actually hosting the World Cup next year. So they are in a bit of a political minefield whereby they can't piss anybody off. Because as Alexander Sefrin has said today, anybody that joins this league will be banned from playing for the international sides as well as representing their country and club teams. So that's the
Yeah.
story.
So the way I've seen it, that I've read a lot of different things about it. I don't know what's true and what's not. So I'm just going to go off the top what I remember. So the European Super League, is it even required? I mean, we've got the Champions League and we've got the Europa League, and I'm sure all these teams play in at least one of those competitions on a regular basis. So why do we need a league of these teams that play each other twice a year, twice a season, just to
Can I
crown a European champion? When we do that in the Champions League every year, we do that in a Europa League every year. So we don't need a Europa Super League. I think it's absolutely crap.
I want
I'll let Shaz start off on what he thinks about this crap.
I want to give you my take. So basically, UEFA had proposed a new format to the Champions League whereby there are now going to be 36 teams. And my take on this is simple, that basically all of the major 6 teams, or apologies, 12 teams that signed up basically said, look, we don't want to be playing the Maribors or the Granadas, no disrespect of them. And basically what they said is, let's create a league whereby it's the elite competition, which, you know what, to a certain extent I agree with. But what you're doing is you're destroying, I mean, when I talk about English football, you're destroying the heart and soul. We've got 92 clubs in England right now. And if you take the 6 clubs out of the competition, it's all well and good saying you're going to take them out, but you're going to destroy the entire pyramid because you've still got to fill the 6 teams up. And effectively, basically, that's going to destroy all of. So the way the European Super League works is there's no relegation for those 15 teams. There's no promotion for. So what's the incentive? So whilst we're all football fans and we want to see our team win, there is no better feeling than seeing your team win a title, get promotion. Yes, the heartbreak of relegation is painful, but that's what we live for, competition. So effectively, what the way the format works is you got 15 teams, and let's be honest, no disrespect to Arsenal. The last time Arsenal won anything, I was in high school or college or uni. I was chilling.
Oh,
We'll leave it at that. But that's how it works. And then you got 5 additional teams that can qualify. But Shaz, I've got a question to ask on that. If you're then saying 5 teams can then
wait. When they say 5 teams are going to be able to qualify, right? Are 5 teams actually going to want to leave, a well-established league like Premier League, the Serie A or the La Liga, the Bundesliga, wherever you are? Are they really going to want to leave that league to join a European Super League against teams like Real, Barca, United? These teams, and even City, bro.
Yeah, but
this competition, the European Super League, it's going to consist of all these teams, but it's going to have either Real or Barca winning every season. Let's be honest. I mean, you're not going to have United beating these teams regularly.
But the problem is, so this has come in because Real Madrid's chairman or the owner has basically said we want to play the best. Now, my problem with that is, Shaz,
they're already doing that, bro.
You've touched upon a very good point. Who's going to want to lead their league? And guess what? Imagine you've got your Leicester City. Let's take Leicester City, for example. Imagine they get promoted to this league and are asked to come and play. For example, what happens if one of the 15 founding members gets dropped into the bottom? Well, hang on a second. They can't get relegated. So what are you going to do? You're then going to tell Leicester that they got to do one and someone else is going to get in? That doesn't make sense. So,
right. I mean... So I'm just reading about the format of this competition because it's all fairly new to me, bro. So I'm going to read this little piece out here, this little paragraph that I found. Yeah. So the competition's going to start with 20 teams. You're going to have the 15 founding teams. The 5 remaining places will be decided by a qualifying mechanism based on the performance of teams in the previous season, starting in August. So the teams will be split into 2 groups of 10, with clubs playing home and away in a double round robin format, for a total of 18 group matches per team. Fixtures will take place during midweek to allow clubs to still participate in the domestic leagues, which they've already been told they're not going to be able to do. So they're going to be kicked out of them leagues. So the top 3 teams of each group will qualify for the quarterfinals, while the teams finishing 4th and 5th from each group will compete in 2 legs playoffs to decide the last 2 quarterfinalists. The remainder of the competition will take place in a 4-week span at the end of the season, where the quarterfinals, semi-finals, featuring 2-legged ties with the final in May, will be contested in a single fixture on a neutral venue. Bro, this sounds a lot like the Champions League. So each season will have 198 matches, 188 in the groups and 17 in the knockout. So let's say United is, let's say for argument's sake, right, United, Chelsea, and all these teams don't get kicked out of the Premier League, yeah?
Yeah.
That's 38 games a season. No, is it 38 games that they play? No, they play 38 teams twice. So, there's them games, and then they're going to be playing these games in the European Super League. So that's adding more games on for the players for no reason at all.
Shaz, but to add to your point, so I'm gonna jump into to fill the viewers in. So guys, the backstory of this is that the owners of the Super League have basically said that they're gonna prioritize this European Super League over the Premier League. So you know what? If you're playing a Burnley, or if you're playing a Watford, or if you're playing a Coventry City, or if you're playing a Leicester, for example,
you're just gonna get a reserve side out.
You're gonna get your reserve side out because guess what? Our priority is, but that's gonna devalue the Premier League because
exactly. That's the problem. It's going to devalue the Premier League, which has been around for years, man. Now, I've just read something else that's interested me here. I've just picked up on. So let's have a look. The competition is set to feature uncapped solidarity payments to its clubs, which can increase in line with the league's revenue. So the organisation has stated that the solidarity payments will be higher than those of existing European competitions, such as your Champions League and your Europa League.
Yeah,
So payments are expected to be in excess of 10 billion during the course of the initial commitment period for the clubs.
yeah,
And the founding clubs will receive 3.5 billion to support infrastructure investment plans and to offset the impact of the coronavirus. And the last little bit of this says American investment group JP Morgan Chase is reported to be a major financial backer of the Super League, which
yeah.
they are pledging $5 billion towards the competition.
Yeah. So it's
That's
it's
absolute
all money
bullcrap.
driven. And the way,
Absolute bullcrap. If you
okay,
ask me, did you
it,
read those? Did you hear those figures though?
yeah,
It's
I
not
have,
million. We're not talking millions here,
yeah,
people.
I
We're
know Sean
talking
Williams. I know
billions
Sean
with a
Williams.
B.
Basically,
We've
what
got
you're saying is,
3.5 billion, 5 billion, and then 10 billion. They're just mad numbers. Who needs that money in football?
no, I agree with you, but you got to understand that this is driven by the owners of these clubs. Because guess what? These owners don't care about the club. They don't care about the fans. They only care about how to line their own pockets up. Now, as a Man United fan, Shaz, if you
Hmm.
look at it this way, you've been complaining about the Glazers for time and time. What are you saying? They're not investing in the club. They're just wasting time wanting to be in the New York stock market and just been a
Yeah,
shambles. What this does is for them, and if you heard the interview on Sky Sports today, uh, the the well-being of the English football or European football, they don't give a damn.
they
All they
don't. They
care
don't give a
about
crap.
is paying their lining their pockets. And I don't know if you saw, but very few players have come out in opposition of this now. I know Bruno Fernandes recently came out with a tweet to say you can't buy success, which is absolute right. But this
Hang
is
on.
so the Premier League, when it was initiated back in '92, started this whole revolution of greed because guess what? Everybody flocked to the Premier League. Back in the '80s, it was the Serie A, and in the early '90s, it was the Premier League. And as you can imagine, with TV revenue, it's a boom. Let me give you an example. Teams that were playing a championship, the league below the
Below the
Premiership,
Premier League, yeah.
that playoff final is worth to them roughly around £300 million. Why? What's that?
Just to get promoted.
TV money, revenue, sponsorship, just being in the Premier League,
Prize
and
money,
prize money. That's
ticket
what
revenue,
like,
all
you
that
take
stuff.
that
Yeah,
away
you bang
from
on, you bang on, bro. It's worth so much to get promoted into the Premier League. It's
exactly,
mad.
exactly.
Now, I'm going to read these names out. These are the owners of this new stupid European Super League. We've got Florentino Perez, president of Real Madrid.
Yep.
Andrea and Agnelli, chairman of
You
Juve. Joe Glazier, co-chairman of United. John W. Henry, director at Liverpool. And Stan Kroenke, I think that's how you pronounce it,
Arsenal.
owner of Arsenal.
Yeah.
So three of them are American, and that's where this backing by JP Morgan Chase has come from, because
Yeah.
more than half that leadership is American, so they're going to be getting American backing, which is fair enough. They're getting money into their league, but they've gone the wrong way about it.
Absolutely. I mean,
They should have invested this money in competitions such as the Champions League and Europa League. Make them
never.
bigger competitions. Make it a bigger format. Add more teams into it.
No, but Seth, here's the problem. Here's the problem. So, on your point that you said add more teams to it. So, Alexander Sefrin recently, as of Friday, because they've signed the agreement for the new format from 2024 for the Champions League, basically said this is going to be revamped because he understood that you want to freshen it up. But why would Ed Woodward on Friday said, you know what, Sefrin, I'm happy, and all of a sudden on Sunday, just after his team is beaten team is beaten Burnley, then turn around and say, you know what? In fact, Man United are cowards in the respect of the fact that they left it late to tweet anything. Chelsea tweeted, Arsenal tweeted, Spurs tweeted, Liverpool tweeted, Man City tweeted. Man United stayed in the background like chamcha is a word called spoons because they come up with the guts to say. By the way, I say this nicely because I said, if you go and tell Sefrin, or if I go and tell you something to your face, don't go behind my back and screw me over because you can't tell it to my face. The problem is you're trying to. I think this is a game of Monopoly for me. So whilst they've technically signed agreements, Shaz, I think this what they're trying to do with UEFA is they want more money, which is I can understand that, but you could have done it so much better. You could have said, "Look, guys, we're not happy. We want more money. There's a better way of doing it." That's just my take.
Of course, if the clubs want more money, like these greedy owners, like the Glaciers do, why not get the backing for your club? Why not get that backing for the Premier League? Do you know what I mean? Now, these are some tweets that I've just read from actual, from footballers themselves. So
why don't you share the tweets?
I was just going to say I'm going to share them on the screen. Just bear with me a second. Share my screen, man. This is just mental. It's not sharing my screen. There we go. Just bear with me. I'm just going to grab the details. It's this one. Yep. Okay, here we go. Can you see that now? Yeah.
Yeah, we can indeed.
So Ozil has come out saying kids grow up dreaming to win the World Cup, the Champions League, not any Super League. The enjoyment of big games is that they only happen once or twice a year, not every week. Really hard to understand for all football fans out there. Dejan Lovren, football will be in the near future on a brink of complete collapse. Nobody is thinking about the bigger picture, only the financial side. I still believe we can solve this unpleasant situation. And there was a one above there. This is a female footballer. I grew up loving the Champions League. Then I got to play in the Women's Champions League. Then I got to win 5 of them and become an all-time leading goal scorer. It's legacy. It's the past, the present, and the future. So is meritocracy in sports. Greed is not the future. So this is just some of the backlash from the fans.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's some of the backlash, not from the fans, but the actual players themselves.
But you know what, Shaz, I'm going to sum it up like this before we wrap up, guys. So here's my take on it. This has all been initiated by the owners, because as you can tell, you got club officials that have come out and said, we're not in agreement with it. But guess what? They're not the ones with the money. You got players like Fernandez and, as Shaz has brought up, Ozil, who loved the game and grew up wanting to win the titles, win the championship. Yes, who doesn't want to get relegated? Who doesn't want to lose games? But that's what everyone wishes.
Another take on this, bro, is if this league comes about and you have these clubs joining and they're kicked out of their competitions that they're in, like the La Liga, the Champions League, the Europa League, you're not going to see Ronaldo or Messi. That you're going to see them in the European Super League. But these matches that they're, for these big clubs to have, they're big games like United and City, United and Real, Barca, Real, Arsenal, Chelsea. These are derby matches. These are big games. These games should be happening twice a season, not every season. Every other week. You shouldn't be having these El Clasicos or the Manchester Derby or United and Liverpool or Arsenal and Spurs. You shouldn't be having these type of games every week. It's gonna dilute that game. People aren't going to want to see it.
I'm going to give you another
in the Premier League. In the Premier League, sorry, Shaz. In the Premier League, you have United versus City. Every United fan, every City fan looks forward to that game. Every season, when I look at the fixture list, I am looking for that game.
Yeah.
Both were home and away. I'm looking when they are. Now, in the Super League, yes, you're still going to get that. But you're also going to get United City, you're going to get United Liverpool, United Barca, United Real. You're going to get them against all the top teams. And you're just going to get bored of seeing that in the same competition.
My take on this is UEFA can't afford to expel the teams that have joined simply because they're the money drawers. So what they end up going to do is you'll end up duplicating these matches, which is kind of stupid because having talked about player burnout, it doesn't make sense for them to then go.
Add to that, it's just going to make the players even more tired because United, yes, the teams are probably going to concentrate more on the European Super League and not their normal competition. So that's gonna devalue the Premier League, the La Liga, the Serie A, the Bundesliga, the La Ligue 1 in France. It's gonna devalue all these leagues because these teams that are in the European Super League, they're gonna be putting out reserve teams in these competitions, and they're gonna be putting their main team out in this European Super League.
Yeah.
And then you've got all these big clubs, right? Most of the international players for Spain, England, and players like teams like that, their main players, their star players, play for these teams in the Super League. So you've got Ronaldo, you've got Messi, Fernandez, Luke Shaw,
So
Henderson as the goalkeeper, and all these players, and they're not going to be able to play for their international team.
I've just seen a report on the news to say Liverpool manager stands by the opposition to the European Super League and says him and his players were not involved in the plans, which tells me this is being done from higher up, and they care damn
it's just
about
the owners
it.
of the clubs putting their clubs into it, saying, "Yeah, we'll put our club into it," without speaking to the players, without speaking to the staff, without speaking to the managers. I guarantee the managers aren't going to be happy about this because
No,
it's going to lead to more player burnout. It's going to lead to more injuries to players that are just going to be burnt out.
I mean, Shaz, I'm just going to wrap it up by
Yeah.
a favorite memory, if I may. So one of the things I wanted to say is when I was growing up, obviously when I grew up in Coventry, followed them as well. Now, one of the matches that we'd seen was Boxing Day 1999 when Coventry, the underdogs, went and beat Arsenal at home 3-2. Now, that to a team like Coventry means absolutely everything because they are one of the founding members of the Premier League, but they're never going to be able to compete with the likes of your Man United, Arsenal, unless you get Rich Arabona, which we hope one day will happen. But let's be honest, it's more hope than expectation. But you see what I mean? The fun is, and I put in the title, guys, the football was created by poor man, but it's now been stolen by the rich. Why? Because they don't care. They don't give a damn about the game.
It's all about the money, bro. It's all about the money in football now. Like I said in a previous video, football has too much money in it. Who needs to be paid £1 million a month?
Yeah.
Who needs to be paid that much money a month? I do. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to get paid that much money. You get what I mean? Anyone would. But footballers play 90 minutes of football a week or a game, per game. So they play maybe 2 or 3 games a week. They get how many hours do they work a month? Like, let's be honest.
They
probably work about half the hours I work. I work 37 and a half hours a week, right? Or sometimes more, up to 40. And I get paid less than, I'm telling you, I get paid a lot less than these Premier League players. Some of these Premier League players get paid maybe 4 or 5 times, maybe 6 or over 6 to 7 times what I get paid in a year, they get paid in a week times 6 or 7. That's how ridiculous the amount of money is in football. There shouldn't be this much money in football, and it's come mostly from TV rights and sponsorship deals.
TV rights, but guys, we will be covering more of this breaking news in future episodes.
Absolutely mental. I'm telling you,
we just wanted to have a rant. Absolutely mental. Absolutely, but guys, thank you very much for tuning in. You know what? If me and Shaz go on, we'll be here for another 2-3 hours.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, I could go on about this for a long time.
Thank you.
What I'm going to say is, I'm going to thank Shaz for joining me on today's show. We needed to speak about it. We got out what we wanted to say. So please leave a like, subscribe, and comment. As always, hit the subscribe button, hit that like button on the videos you like. Leave the comments. Let us know what you think about this Super League. Let us know what. I know there's people watching. I can't see your names, so I'm sorry if I can't. If I can't mention your names. Leave your comments and let us know what you actually think about this European Super League. Because my thoughts on it, you've heard during this show as well as Shaz's. Let us know what you think, and maybe we'll revisit this and do a part 2 based on some of your comments. Absolutely. If you disagree with what we're saying. But I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to cut it short and sweet. Thank you very much for tuning in, and until the next video, see you again.
Peace out.